Yo, welcome back to DJ's Locker Room, where we talk all things NBA and WNBA. On today's episode, we're going to discuss the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1. There's a lot to unpack there. It was a great game if you didn't watch it. We're going to talk about the WNBA thrillers. There was a lot of games, great games that happened over the past couple of days. And if you missed them, it's okay, I got you. We're going to talk about them. We're also going to check back in on my fantasy WNBA team. Not a lot going on there, but we'll discuss it just because why not? Now I'm going to give you my conference finals predictions, who's going to win. You also have a new segment at the very end called Open Gym. This is where I kind of just go on a rant, talk about things that bothered me or things that I noticed that I need to get off my chest about the game of basketball. Let's get it. Since the last time we talked, first game that I watched was the Pacers and Knicks Game 7. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I called this game correctly. I called this series correctly. I said Pacers in 7. Didn't think the Knicks had enough, and the outcome of the game was 130 to 109 in the favor of the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton had 26 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. 6 players from the Pacers were in double-digit scoring. Jalen Brunson goes down, broken hand. Super unfortunate. I was not expecting that to happen. I did think he'd be tired and wouldn't be a factor in this game. I didn't think it would come down to an injury, though. Dante DiVincenzo picked up the slack. He had 39 points. He shot 9 from 15 from 3. And Alex Burks came off the bench and had 26 points. The Knicks put up a fight this season. They had a very great season. It was dealt with so many injuries. The only thing I can say is that it's kind of Tibbs' style of play. He plays his best players heavy minutes. I don't even think he believes in a bench or subbing people out. It just sucks because when we look at the correlation of injuries that have come through, Derrick Rose, after his MVP season, still gets everyone to this day. Jalen Brunson goes down. Josh Hart goes down. OG Anunoby. Injuries. Julius Randle was out for the year. Now, I'm not saying that's because he was playing heavy minutes, but it just seems like Tibbs hasn't had a very healthy team in forever. I understand having your best players on the court at all times. It makes sense. However, you do have 15 players on a roster. You're paying 15 players. If you're only playing 6 and you can't trust the other 9 to give you at least 10 minutes and hold down the fort, what are we paying them for? What are they here for? Doesn't make any sense to me. But congrats to the Pacers for getting to the Eastern Conference Finals to play the Celtics. You're going to have a tough time. It'll be a good series for them. They like to run. These are two of the most high-scoring teams in the league, with the Celtics and the Pacers going at it. It'll definitely come down to see who could play the best defense. They both have equal depth. T.J. McConnell and Peyton Pritchard are pretty much neck and neck in terms of the way they score and the way they play and the way they impact their teams. That should be a good series to watch. But I'll discuss that prediction later on in the podcast. The other Game 7 in the West, Timberwolves and Nuggets. The Timberwolves did it. They beat the defending champs Denver Nuggets in 7 games. Game 7's final score was 98 to 90. Cat had 23 points, 12 rebounds. Jaden McDaniels, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. Anthony Edwards had 16 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, and went 6 for 24 from the field. 6 players from the Timberwolves were in double-digit scoring. The Nuggets, on the other hand, was completely different. Jamal Murray had 35 points. Jokic, 34 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists. The rest of the team had 21 points total. Very uncharacteristic from the others on the Nuggets. Usually, Michael Porter will chip in, hit a couple threes. He'll probably aim for 20. Aaron Gordon, backdoor cut, slasher, fast break guy. Usually, he'll come up with 20. None of that. Had 20 combined for the rest of the team. Wasn't expecting it, but I mean, if that's how you're going to stop them, that's how you're going to stop them. The Timberwolves will play Dallas in the Western Conference Finals next, the Dallas Mavericks. And I'll have that prediction coming up later, too. Moving on to Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. What a game that was. What an ending that was, especially in regulation. Let's get to it. So Boston defeated the Pacers in overtime, 133 to 128. Jason Tatum came out of the slump that everyone said he was in. He had 36 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals. Drew Holiday, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. Jaylen Brown, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. Derek White, 15 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Al Horford, 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Halliburton, 25 points, 10 assists. Pascal Siakam, 24 points, 12 rebounds. Miles Turner had 23 points, 10 rebounds. There's a couple things I want to talk about that happened during this game. Obviously, at the very end, fourth quarter, about 8 seconds left, the Pacers are up 3. Instead of choosing to foul, they just try to play good closeout defense. Jaylen Brown hits a crazy corner shot 3, highly contested, one that I didn't think was going in, but it went in. I'm not a fan of that choice. Rick Carlisle has had many opportunities this postseason alone, to play the free throw game, to foul, and not let their opponent hit a 3, down 3. Foul them. Play the free throw game. Let's keep it going. I'm not the coach, but we'll talk about that more in depth as we get along in this podcast. A lot of people's reaction after the Celtics performance, they were unhappy with the way they played and how close the game was. They were like, oh, the Celtics should have blown this team out by a lot. Well, you do realize the Celtics were off for about 5 days, right? I'm aware of the preparation that could have been done, but you haven't played a basketball game, and the Pacers are fresh off of a Game 7. They're warm, and they're young, so they're not really sore. A little bit tired, but they're not sore. I don't think Boston will play as tight in Game 2. And I believe the Pacers missed a great opportunity to get one on the road because, like they say, it's not a series until the first team gets one on the road. I think the Pacers missed a great opportunity. Game 2 might be a little bit different. Updates from the injury report. Kristaps Porzingis could be back for Game 4. Previously, it was thought he'd come back. He'd miss Games 1 and 2, probably Game 3. Now it's looking about Game 4. Whenever he gets back, I think the Pacers are really in trouble now. That's just another 7-footer that they have to worry about. Al Horford, like I said, he had 18 points. He was playing very good basketball. Porzingis is going to add 20 points and 7 boards to that stat line. Good luck, Indiana. That's all I got. All right, let's move to the W. The Seattle Storm get their first dub of the season versus the Washington Mystics, 84-75, without Nneka Ogwumike. She was out with that ankle injury from the last game, but they battled anyway. Jewel Lloyd, 24 points. Skylar Diggins-Smith, 18 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. Ezi Magbagor had 15 points and 14 rebounds. The Washington Mystics, Carly Samuelson had 13 points. Ariel Atkins, 19 points. Aaliyah Edwards had 9 points and 11 rebounds. The Seattle Storm are definitely in that next woman up mentality. So far this season, they've had to deal with the injury of Ogwumike. And they're also awaiting the visa approval of their draft pick, Nika Mule from UConn. Once they get those two back, I do think this will be a different team. I think it'll be a better team. I think they'll definitely play with more confidence, but they're playing with confidence anyway. I think the more that they grow together, as I mentioned last pod, this team will definitely be something to see in the playoffs. But the joy didn't last long, as the Storm lose to the Liberty in a back-to-back, 74-63. Now, this was a poor shooting outing for both teams. It was not pretty, but someone has to win. Someone's got to lose. Jewel Lloyd, 13 points, 9 rebounds. For the Liberty, Ionescu had 20 points and 8 rebounds. Breonna Stewart and Jonquel Jones both had 16 points each, and the Liberty improved to an undefeated 4-0. I believe the Liberty need more help from their bench. I think that is what will separate them apart from a championship team like the Aces, or a very deep team like the Sun or the Mercury. You can't deny the power up front in their starting lineup. but you still need help from the others. That's for any team in any sport. They're there for a reason. You've got to use them. You've got to find out how to bring the best out of them, because there's going to come a time in the playoffs or along in the season, barring injuries, where they're needed. So once they figure that out, I think this will be a very good team to watch. I think this will be a very scary team that nobody wants to see. They just made it to the finals last year. I think adding that bench piece will definitely bring them to a new level. Now let's talk about the Connecticut Sun versus the Indiana Fever. The Sun came out on top 88-84. This was a great game from both teams. This was a very entertaining game. You definitely see the Fever getting better, getting more comfortable with each other. I would say this is definitely a peak on their journey. They played great against a veteran team. They almost came out with the win. I do think that there are some times where lack of experience shows up. Keep in mind, this team wasn't that good last year. They were given the number one pick for a reason in Caitlin Clark. So just because the addition of her doesn't make this team a championship or playoff team yet. It's still going to take more time. Still going to take more pieces. But they're definitely heading in the right direction when you see how they play every game. Every game so far has gotten better. I get that they haven't won yet. I don't want to say that's okay because I'm not cool with losing, but seeing how the process is getting done, baby steps, and you're seeing baby steps. Every game they're getting better. Every game the turnovers are being lowered. Every game pocket passes are a lot crisper. Ball movement is there. They just seem to be getting a better feel with everyone. Both teams need to be proud of their performance for this game. It was very hard fought. It honestly gave playoff atmosphere in, game 4 of the season? So I enjoyed watching that game. Hope you guys didn't miss it. The Atlanta Dream knock off the Dallas Wings 83-78. Arike Agumbawale, she had 24 points, only shot 1 for 8 from three-point land. Tierra McCowan had 21 points, 14 rebounds. And Monique Billings had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. For the Dream, Alicia Gray had 21 points. Ryan Howard, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. And Cheyenne Parker-Tyus had 16 points. Also for the Dream, 5 players were in double-digit scoring. The Wings flat out lost this one in the fourth quarter. They just looked lost and were playing a lot of ISO basketball. It shows how much they miss Satu Sabli, who does pretty much everything for them in terms of scoring, rebounding, passing, defense. She's their bread and butter, but she's out. She's still rehabbing from her shoulder surgery. By the looks of what reports are saying, Satu's return is going to be August 16th versus the Sun. This will be after the Olympics. She had shoulder surgery back in February. So that would leave her, a month left in the season to gel with the team. I don't think it'll take long. She's been playing with them for a couple years now. So if the Dallas Wings can hold down the fort until Satu Sabli comes back, they should be in very good shape to make a run in that last month of games to improve playoff seeding. The Phoenix Mercury handed the Las Vegas Aces their first loss of the season. Kalia Copper had 27 points and 3 steals. Natasha Cloud had 11 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists. Sophie Cunningham, off the bench, had 9 points and 9 rebounds. For the Aces, Kelsey Plum had 27 points, 5 assists. Jackie Young, 23 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. And Asia Wilson, 21 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks. The Aces lost the second half. They were outscored in the third and fourth quarter. From a championship team, you don't expect that to happen. But they're also missing Chelsea Gray. I get that she's one player, but she's that veteran voice outside of Asia Wilson and Kelsey Plum and all those girls. They've got more than one voice. I think she's the glue that holds everything together. She will do what's necessary, whether that be the grunt work, the dirty work. She can hit shots when she's needed to. Whatever's lacking, she's the one who finds the rabbit in the hat and she pulls out whatever's needed. The Mercury are also missing Brittany Griner. She's still out with a fracture in her left foot. There is an unknown timetable of when she will return. They don't really have a player that's as impactful as Brittany Griner is Diana Taurasi, she's getting older, so it's going to have to be a whole team effort. Everyone says that. It's cliche to say, but it's going to take the entire team to replace what you're getting from Brittany Griner. On to the Sparks and the Mystics. The Sparks made it out alive, winning 70-68 with a clutch block from rookie Cameron Brink. Lexi Brown, she dropped 22 points, dished out 6 assists, and played the entire game, all 40 minutes. De'Erica Hamby had 17 points, 18 rebounds, 4 assists. Cameron Brink didn't score too much. She only had 4 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, 3 steals. The one thing I want to discuss about this game that I find admirable and valuable to hoopers everywhere is affecting the game without scoring. Cameron Brink did that. She didn't have the great scoring outing that everyone's used to seeing her do at Stanford. We all know she can go out and get you 20 and 10, but sometimes that's not what the team needs. Affect the game in other ways. There are more aspects to the game than just scoring the ball. Yeah, you win the game by points, but someone has to stop the other team from scoring points as well. Other than that, we'll just keep going back and forth, and who wants to see a game like that? Basketball is already an offensive game, it seems like now. The last thing we need is just no defense being played. Someone's got to stop somebody. Being able to affect the game in more than one ways is very important. You see players like Anthony Edwards this season doing it on the defensive end when he's not scoring. Marcus Smart does it every single night. He's one of the best defenders in the league. DeJounte Murray, he got on the court because he played defense, and you have to play offense as well. Being able to play without the ball is very important, and I think more people need to learn and understand how that's done at a younger age. So then when you get to certain levels of basketball, whether that be high school, college, or professional, you're able to still be successful to a team. There's so many Kevin Durant's, there are so many Steph Curry's, there's so many Arike Agubawale's and the Caitlin Clarks that can put the ball in the basket. But what teams need are players that can coexist with those players, which means you're not going to have the ball in your hand. So what are you going to do? Stand in the corner and not move? No. What are you going to do? Because you're not getting the ball on offense, you're just going to slack off on defense? No. Being a multifaceted player, or what they call a two-way player, everyone needs it, but there are only there's a select few that are great at it and make it their identity, which is why I think they have long-lasting success in these leagues. This game was also a game of runs. The Sparks went on their run for, 2 or 3 minutes. Then that got stopped. Then the Mystics went on theirs. It was just a back and forth game, and that's what we like to see. That's how games are started. That's how feels are created. Someone says like they got a feel of the game, or someone says they couldn't get a feel of the game because there's so many whistles or there's so many breaks in the game with turnovers. There was really none of that. It was a very fluid game. Everyone was able to get a good rhythm, so to say. And it was beautiful basketball to watch. I would say that the turnovers killed the Sparks. It was quite sloppy play, but not enough to really affect the outcome of the game. I mean, they won. So at this point, what do you say? A win's a win. Get a win by any means. That's how I live. I also see the Mystics missing the absence of Elena Deladon, who is figuring out. She's currently not with the team, figuring out what she wants to do with her future, whether that be a part of basketball or just in her own personal life. They have pieces that can step up. It's just finding the consistency to do it every night like Deladon did. That's what separates the good from the great. It's just being there every night. And like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be scoring, but knowing you're going to get great production out of someone. Every single night, that one person, whether, hey, I know for sure if they're not scoring the basketball, they're going to defend. They're still communicating. They're still calling out screens. They're still talking on switches. They're rebounding the ball. Even if it's being a great teammate and just uplifting everyone, it's still an important asset to have to every player. That's it for the WNBA updates. Now let's dive back into my fantasy team, the Manhattan Menaces. I am undefeated. Won that first week. Let's go. I found a replacement, though, for Natasha Howard, who's out for 36 weeks with a broken foot. I got her teammate, Maddie Siegrist, another forward from the Dallas Wings. I think she'd be her replacement anyway coming off the bench, so why not pick her up? She'll get some productivity. It's not going to be the Natasha Howard, but I'm okay with that. 3 to 6 weeks, that'll go by in a breeze. Should be back. My top performers for this week were Jackie Young and Asia Wilson. Of course, it seems like it's the same people over and over again, but I chose those super early in my draft for a reason. I knew they were going to be top of the top in the league, and they have not disappointed. I don't expect them to carry me. I mean, I've got a whole nother team. So now let's talk about the predictions of the conference finals. I know y'all probably been waiting to hear this for a minute. So we got Boston and Indiana in the East. I personally think the Celtics are going to win in 5. I think Boston has way too much. Porzingis will return in game 4. At that point, you could say the series is out of reach or out of touch for the Pacers. We'll see. The difference maker of this series, I think, is going to be Miles Turner. He seems to be the difference maker for the Pacers. Will he be that disruptor? Will he cause chaos defensively and make the Celtics second guess coming into the paint and being aggressive? You saw that with the Heat a couple years ago in the bubble and this past season. Bam Adebayo halted everything in the paint. You knew going in the paint you were going to get touched up. You were going to get a physical hard foul, or you were going to get blocked, as we saw in the bubble with Jason Tatum, where he had that game-saving block. That was crazy. I don't want to talk about it. It makes me mad to this day. But I think Miles Turner can be a difference maker for this series. The sad part is that no one really fears Miles Turner. You saw during the Knicks series, Dante DiVincenzo was about to get active. He was like, I'm not afraid of you. It's not that great of a look on the Pacers, knowing that they don't have that center that's going to hold it down defensively and protect the rim like they should. But now that I'm saying this out loud, this is the NBA in 2024. How many centers are really blocking shots like that outside of Wemby, Rudy Gobert, Bam Adebayo? That's all I've got off the top of my head. There's not too many out there that are really going to hold it down. So maybe I could be wrong. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's not that important. The Celtics have cruised through the playoffs with ugly wins. They've cruised through the season with ugly wins. I don't think that's a knock to them. I just think that they find out how to win, and that's what we applaud, right? We say, "Oh, great teams know how to win, good, bad, ugly or cute." So why is it that when it comes to the Celtics, whenever they win in an ugly fashion, we just say, "Oh my gosh, this is super disappointing." It doesn't make any sense to me. Be consistent with your thoughts. Be consistent with your takes. A win is a win. Win at all costs. That's what Jordan lived by. That's what I live by. Win at all costs. Ugly doesn't matter. We can go into 5 overtimes. I'm still winning. I'm not going to lose. All my friends and my family, they know me. They say, I tell them all the time, I'd rather lose by 30 than lose by 2. I'd rather know I wasn't even close and didn't have a chance of winning this game than lose at the buzzer or lose at a last-second foul or something like that. That sticks with me way longer than a loss by 30. Also, the Celtics have 4 players that can drop 25 plus. Now, I wrote this down before the Eastern Conference Finals started, that Drew Holiday can get you 30, but he doesn't have to unless he's needed to. And lo and behold, in game 1, he had 28 points. I think if he is continually giving you 25 points a game, I think y'all are in trouble. I do think that once Kristaps Porzingis comes down, that number is going to drop, because it's not like your services aren't needed, but they're just not needed as much. We've got Porzingis, who's also going to get you 20. So someone's going to have to take less shots. It'll probably be Drew Holiday, but that's fine, because like we talked about with Cameron Brink, he's going to affect the games in other ways. He's going to play great defense. That's a given. He's going to rebound the ball. That's a given. He's going to pick up 94 feet. He's also that proven leader. He has a ring with the Bucks, so he knows how to win a championship, something that the Celtics don't have. So yeah, he definitely has a lot of value to this team outside of what pops up in the stat sheet. Now, before y'all get on me, y'all say, oh, well, Marcus Smart did the same thing. Yeah, but Marcus Smart never won. Like I said, Marcus Smart couldn't get you 28 points if he needed to, or if he had to. The most he probably gets you maybe 18. We need more than that. So I like the trade that they made early in the season for Drew Holiday. I appreciate what Marcus Smart did for the city and for the team. But it was time to move on and start fresh and get pieces that were proven and that knew how to win and that weren't just vocal leaders, but also can say, no, let me show you how it's done. And that's what Drew Holiday's done for this team. And as you can see, we've skyrocketed and they've had championship expectations from the jump. So now let's discuss my predictions for the Western Conference Finals between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I got Minnesota in 6. Luka's banged up. He's been banged up all season, all postseason, but that hasn't seemed to derail him or anything of how he plays. He still plays with 100%. Somehow he's still getting off shots on the step back. It doesn't make any common sense to me on how he's doing these things. A bucket's a bucket. He's going to be guarded probably by Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels. They're going to switch off and tag team that, but yeah, Luka's probably still going to bust him for 30. It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. The Wolves bigs, I don't think that they're going to allow the pick and rolls to happen as much. You know, those lobs that Luka has. I don't think the Minnesota bigs will allow him to lob it up as easy. I think they will defend and switch well. Naz Reid and Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, even when he's in there. I think they will definitely stop those lobs from coming in and pick up the loose man when, you know, those pick and roll situations come about. I do have Dallas getting 2 games just because they score the ball super efficiently. Luka's unstoppable. Kyrie is Kyrie. He can get you 30 in the most crazy ways with the left hand, shooting jump shots, threes. He's one of the best scorers in the game. So because they can score the ball at a high clip, Dallas is going to get 2 games. The difference maker in this series, in my opinion, is going to be P.J. Washington. I think if he can average 20 a game and get you some real timely physical rebounds when they matter late in the game, I believe the series might turn. It's for sure going to be competitive regardless. It's entertaining anyway because Anthony Edwards is one of the best upcoming stars in the league. Luka's proven himself. Kyrie's trying to get back to the finals. There's just so much going around the Timberwolves right now. Of like they haven't had a successful season in about 20 years. Anthony Edwards is on a come up. Karl Anthony Towns is figuring it out, being like, you know, a backseat driver on this limo that they've got. But yeah, so this for sure will be a better series than the Eastern Conference Finals by far. It's just tougher teams, tougher matchups. And Boston's been looking dominant all season. They've been killing every series 4-1, so Minnesota in 6. Now it's time for the new segment, Open Gym. Like I said before, this is where I kind of just rant and vent about things that I need to get off my chest. I want to talk about player accountability. Now, this has nothing to do with teammates. Well, I guess it does have to do with, you know, teammates holding each other accountable. I want to talk more about accountability of you are wearing the jersey. You have the reins to veto a decision that a coach gives you, in my opinion. Coaches see the game from one point of view, the sideline. Fans see it from another, the stands. There's only one group of people that see it from all facets. That's the players. You're actually out there. An example of this is during the Pacers and Boston game. You're up 3. You choose not to foul and play the free throw game. If you're waiting on your head coach to tell you to foul, knowing that all season long that's been a problem for you guys, and you've lost games by not fouling, don't you think you should try something different? How many times does it take for something to happen before you just say, let me take control and let me get it done? I'm sure you do it all the time at work. If someone continues to have problems with the task, what do? You take over, you be a leader, you do it yourself. We've been saying it for years. You want something done, you do it yourself. If the coaches are going to tell you to foul, knowing that you're up and by fouling, you only get 2 shots, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think you deserve to win in that situation. There have been a number of times in my athletic life where a coach may have said do something and I'm like, that's not working. Why run the same thing that doesn't work? And if they tell me to run it anyway, you say, okay. You go to your team huddle and you say, scratch that. What y'all think about this as a group? I'm not vetoing it by myself. And the thing is that if you're going to go against what your coach is telling you, it better work. More times than not, it has. There are some times that it hasn't. But take a bet on yourself. You have a voice as a player. You're able to speak up against what your coach is telling you. There was an instance where I was running track and field in high school, and you got the first leg, second leg, third, and anchor. So everyone on the team knew that when it came to the start, I was one of the better ones on the team coming out of the blocks. So why wouldn't I start off first leg and get that strong start? That's literally my best aspect of a race is my start. Coach had me running second leg on the opposite straightaway going against the wind. I'm not the strongest person. I'm not the strongest runner. Me going against some wind, you're probably going to lose and get into a deep hole that now your third leg's going to have to dig deep and come out of. Especially when there's stronger players, when there's stronger runners on the team outside of myself. So he came to us and he was like, all right, so we got so-and-so going first. Dylan, you're going second. And we're all just like, Coach, we don't agree with that. Now, we took it upon ourselves to switch up the lineup because we knew it was going to work. At the end of that race, we got first and we got a medal. If we're able to do that in high school, go against what the coach is saying, not in a disrespectful way, but because we've been doing this for a while and we have a better feel of what's needed at the moment. It's not disrespectful for you to do it at the NBA level to go against your coach. Everyone's got their own consequences that they're worried about, getting benched, getting, whatever, or getting fined. I don't know what the repercussions would be for going against your coach in a game. We're talking about playoff basketball, though. Every win matters, especially in a game where you had the lead. You gave it up because you chose to follow the coach's commands. You go to an overtime with a proven team that's ready to take it to another gear because they haven't played in 5 days, so now they've warmed up. I wouldn't be shocked if this was a sweep. You missed an opportunity to get an easy one on the road while they were sleeping. You got them lacking. Game 2 is going to be completely different. They're probably going to be warmed up. They're going to be ready. They're going to make the adjustments too. Good luck to the Pacers. I still got them in 5. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a sweep, but that's all from Open Gym. I hope that you guys heard or saw improvements from episode 1 to episode 2. I appreciate everyone who has subscribed to the channel. I appreciate everyone who's liking and sharing and commenting. Don't be afraid to share this to everyone who enjoys Hoops Talks. Go be great today and ball out in life. Peace.